Does your mechanic often ask you for a fuel induction service, scaring you about the carbon buildup in your engine, causing power loss, idling, and choking? You feel like a sudden $250 slap. Sound familiar? But here's the reality. In most cases, this is nothing more than a cash grab. Power loss is due to bad spark plugs. Rough idle is due to a clogged air filter. And hard starts? When was the last time you changed your battery? But ending up on a fuel induction every now and then is not the solution. In this video, we'll focus on how dealerships fool you with this stupid engine service. Make sure you watch till the end as I'll share the easiest hack to avoid it successfully. Ever been to a mechanic and suddenly felt like your car was on its last legs? Hitting you with the bad news that your fuel injectors are dirty, carbon buildup is clogging everything up, and if you don't clean it soon, your engine's going to struggle. Which gimmicks did they use? Maybe they took off a hose, shined a flashlight into your intake, and pointed at some black soot, making it seem like your engine was suffocating under layers of carbon. Or maybe they pulled out a small container of your fuel, tilted it under the light, and told you about the slight discoloration, making it a sign of contamination. And then there is another classic sales trick, the performance test, where they ask you to rev your engine while they listen, nodding seriously as if they can hear clogged injectors. And let's not forget the staged before and after injector spray test, where they show you a weak, uneven spray pattern before cleaning, only for it to magically become a fine mist afterward. If none of those convinced you, the check engine light scare usually does the trick. The moment that light comes on, they're quick to blame dirty injectors, conveniently ignoring the dozens of other reasons a check engine light could appear, like a misfiring spark plug, a bad sensor, or even just a loose gas cap. Yet because most drivers aren't car experts, they fall for it, nodding along as the mechanic convinces them that a fuel induction service is the only way to save their engine. But here's the reality. None of these gimmicks actually prove you have clogged fuel injectors. That black soot they showed you inside the throttle body, completely normal. A thin layer of carbon forms in every engine over time, and it doesn't mean your injectors are failing. Most of the time, if buildup ever does become an issue, it affects the throttle body or intake valves, not the fuel injectors themselves. And that fuel sample they made you worry about, a slight discoloration doesn't mean your injectors are clogged or your fuel is dirty. It's just a scare tactic to sell you an unnecessary service. That dramatic rev test where they acted like they could hear clogged injectors, pure nonsense. A misfire, rough idle, or hesitation can come from bad spark plugs, a failing ignition coil, a weak fuel pump, or even dirty air filters, none of which have anything to do with clogged injectors. And that impressive before and after spray pattern trick, they likely tampered with the fuel pressure, making the first test look bad and the second one appear magically fixed. And let's talk about that check engine light. It's one of the easiest ways to sell unnecessary services because most drivers immediately assume something major is wrong. But clogged injectors are rarely the reason a check engine light comes on. The actual causes are often far simpler, like a bad sensor, a vacuum leak, old spark plugs, or even a loose gas cap. Mechanics know that once you see that light, you'll believe whatever explanation they give you, and they take full advantage of that. The truth is, modern fuel injectors are designed to keep themselves clean, especially if you use quality fuel. Unless your car is misfiring constantly, struggling to start, or showing serious performance issues, your injectors are probably just fine. Mechanics know that most drivers don't understand how fuel systems work, and they use that gap in knowledge to upsell services that do little more than drain your wallet. So, is a fuel induction service a complete waste of money? A fuel induction service is basically a deep cleaning for your engine's intake system, including the throttle body, intake valves, and fuel injectors. It involves spraying or injecting cleaning solutions into the air intake or fuel system to dissolve carbon buildup that may have accumulated over time. In theory, it helps restore lost performance, improve fuel economy, and keep your engine running smoothly. But the big question is, do you actually need it? And if so, how often? The answer depends on how and where you drive. If you are enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. This helps me bring you more honest car advice. Moving on, let's help you decide whether you need the induction service or not. For city drivers who mostly take short trips with frequent stop and go traffic, carbon buildup can happen more quickly since the engine doesn't always reach optimal temperatures. If you're noticing sluggish acceleration, rough idling, or poor gas mileage, a fuel induction service every 50,000 to 60,000 miles may be beneficial, but only if real symptoms are present. Otherwise, maintenance, regular use of high-quality fuel, and an occasional bottle of injector cleaner is enough to keep things running fine. For commercial fleets like delivery trucks, taxis, or rideshare vehicles that are constantly on the move, injectors may wear down faster due to continuous operation and varying fuel quality. In these cases, a fuel induction service every 30,000 to 40,000 miles might help maintain efficiency, especially if the vehicle idles for long periods. However, it's still important to check for actual symptoms before committing to the service. For highway drivers who do mostly long-distance driving at steady speeds, carbon buildup is far less of an issue because engines run at optimal temperatures for extended periods, burning off excess deposits naturally. If you're regularly cruising on highways, you probably don't need a fuel induction service at all unless you experience noticeable performance issues. Even then, a quick check of the throttle body and injectors can determine if a cleaning is truly necessary. So how do you know if your car actually needs a fuel induction service, or if it's just another unnecessary upsell? The key is to look for real, consistent symptoms, not just one rough start or a moment of hesitation. If your car is constantly misfiring, idling rough, hesitating when you accelerate, or struggling with fuel economy despite using good gas, then it might be worth checking your injectors and intake system. But here's the thing, don't just take a mechanic's word for it. Ask for actual evidence, like diagnostic trouble codes, DTCs, from an OBD2 scan, or a fuel pressure test to see if your injectors are truly clogged. If they can't show you proof beyond just pointing at some carbon buildup, chances are you don't need the service. Let me tell you a few simple DIY methods to fix your fuel injectors yourself without wasting money on a mechanic. 1. Use top-tier gasoline. The easiest and most effective way to keep your fuel injectors clean is using high-quality gasoline with built-in detergents. By law, all gasoline contains some level of detergent additives to prevent buildup, but not all fuel brands are created equal. Some gas stations offer top-tier gasoline, which has 2 to 3 times the detergent levels required by federal regulations. That means it's constantly cleaning your injectors as you drive, reducing the risk of buildup before it ever becomes a problem. Some manufacturers even recommend using top-tier fuel, so check your owner's manual under fuel or gasoline to see if your car benefits from it. Many gas stations display a top-tier logo, but if you're unsure where to find one, you can look up top-tier locations online or use an app to locate the nearest certified station. If you already fill up with top-tier fuel regularly, congratulations, you're likely avoiding the need for any extra injector cleaning services. 2. Use a fuel injector cleaner. If you don't always have access to top-tier gas, or you suspect some buildup is forming in your fuel system, using a bottle of fuel injector cleaner is a great backup plan. These additives are designed to mix with your gasoline and break down deposits inside the injectors, helping restore smooth engine performance. The best way to use them? Pour a bottle into your gas tank before filling up so it blends evenly with the fuel. There are plenty of brands available, usually costing between $5 to $15, but not all are created equal. While there's no official rating system for these additives, online reviews and automotive forums can help identify the most effective ones. Be cautious though, using injector cleaners in an older engine or one that's already running poorly could loosen buildup too quickly, potentially causing more harm than good. Also, some automakers recommend against using fuel additives altogether, so check your owner's manual under additives or fuel before pouring anything into your tank. If your car allows it and you're using a reputable brand, an injector cleaner every few thousand miles can help prevent buildup without ever needing an expensive fuel induction service. The bottom line, a fuel induction service isn't a routine maintenance item that should be blindly accepted every time a mechanic suggests it. They use fear tactics and vague explanations to convince you that your engine is in danger, when in reality, most modern cars don't need this service unless there's a real, persistent issue. Instead of falling for these overpriced gimmicks, stick to quality fuel, proper maintenance, and simple DIY solutions that actually work without draining your wallet. That's exactly why this channel exists, to help you save money, avoid unnecessary repairs, and make smarter decisions about your car. No dealership upsells, no mechanic tricks, just straightforward, honest advice to keep your car running smoothly for years. If this video helped you dodge a costly mistake, make sure to like, subscribe, and stick around for the next video where we share more expert tricks to cut down on repair costs and keep your car running like new.